Good morning, class. We begin with the chapter we had started human environment, settlement, transport, and communication. And now we are on the part where we are doing the transportation, and now we are on the heading airways. We completed the land and water.
Good morning,
Land,
ma'am.
good morning. Land transport consisted of roadways and railways. Water transport, waterways, we talked of inland waterways and oceanic routes or sea routes. And now we come on to airways. Now, this is the fastest mode of transport developed in the early 20th century. Please underline early 20th century. It first began in the early 20th century. It is the most expensive mode of transport due to high cost of fuel. It can go anywhere over the high mountains, vast oceanic areas, uneven hilly terrain. Helicopters are extremely useful in most inaccessible areas and in times of calamities for rescuing people and distributing food, water, clothes, medicines, etc. So they talk of airways in which they talk of helicopters first because these are the ones which can carry people and reach to even the most distant terrains, uneven terrains. What is terrain? That means the surface of the earth. Even if it is a mountainous area, it doesn't need a runway like an aeroplane. It can land directly on any uneven ground. It can. Vast oceanic areas also, it can hover over these areas and rescue people. So it is very, very important at the time of calamities for rescuing people. And it is the most expensive mode of transport because of its high consumption of fuel, and it can carry you to any part of the world in no time. The major cities of the world are connected by air routes. Now we all know that the major cities of every country are connected by air routes. The aircrafts have to follow a particular route. The different nations permit the air flights only through a fixed corridor. Most of the operations are managed by the private sector. There are two types of air services. First is domestic, second is international. Domestic means when we are flying from within one city to another within the country. Okay. And international is when you're flying from one country to another. A very dense network of air routes exists in Western Europe, Eastern USA, and Southeast Asia. Some of the world's important airports are, please underline, Delhi, Mumbai, New York, London, Paris, Frankfurt, and Cairo. So these are the few important airports. Now we come on to the next heading called communication. See, I am talking to you through a phone or a laptop. So this is a means of communication when you are getting in touch with another person and you are communicating. Communication is the process to convey messages from one person to another. With the development of technology, humans have devised new and fast modes of development. Earlier, it was difficult to send messages in a short period of time. It took several days or months to convey messages in distant places. Pigeons were used to send messages from one distant place to another. You all must be remembering this song. The advertisement is the field of communication. The advertisement in the field of communication has brought about an information revolution in the world. Different modes of communication are used to provide information, to educate, as well as to entertain, namely newspapers, radios, television, internet, mobile phones, etc. All these are the best ways of communicating with each other. Okay. The earlier times, the pigeons were used as a means of communication. The letters were tied down to the pigeon's leg and were parceled from there. And the pigeon used to fly to reach to the distant land. They were trained pigeons, okay? And it took it took days to get the communication established, but now it is just at a finger's click. Communication may be of the following types, that is personal communication, or the other is mass communication. Personal is when you're talking one to one. That means if you call up your friend and talk to her or him, that is the personal communication. And mass communication is when you are communicating, conveying your idea or thought to a number of people, more than two people, more than one person. That is called mass communication. Right now, I'm doing mass communication. I'm communicating with number of people in one go. So now let us take the personal communication in detail. When messages are conveyed between two individuals, that is known as the personal communication. Examples are if you're writing a letter, like inland letters, then telegrams that you send, then telephones and mobiles are the means of personal communication. Then you talk of mass communication. When we communicate with a large number of people at one time, it is known as mass communication. And the examples would be newspapers, radio, and television. And let us include mobiles as well, internet as well, are the examples of mass communication, as through them we can communicate with a large number of people. They are also called mass media. Then in the last paragraph, they talk about the satellites. The satellites have made communication even faster. How come? We receive signals through satellites, isn't it? And then the work, everything, the class that is going on, it is only through the with the help of satellites. And when there is a rainy weather or a foggy kind of a day, and in those times, many a times you get a disrupted uh, communication. Why? Because the signals are very low. Okay, so that is the satellite. The communication has been made possible with. Satellites have helped in oil exploration, survey of forests, underground water, mineral wealth, wealthier forecast, and disaster warnings. All these have been conducted by the satellites. Now we can send electronic mails or emails, as you all know it, through internet, and that is it's just at a click of a button that the mail reaches the other person. Then wireless telephonic communications, the ones we do on cellular phones, these mobile phones, okay? You don't need a wire to carry along. They have become very popular today. Now, internet provides us worldwide information as well as makes our life comfortable, as we can reserve tickets for railways, airways, etc., sitting at the convenience of our homes. So this is the summing up paragraph of the chapter, and we come to know that all these things have made life very, very comfortable, much better than what it was in the earlier times. Call it the settlements, that means the houses that we now live in. They are more durable, they are permanent houses. We are not shifting from one place to another. Then we talk of uh, transportation. Transportation has been very easy and made very easy through not only roadways but railways, airways, waterways. Then we talked of the communication, which is possible through mass media or like newspaper, television, radio, etc., but also through internet, satellites, and various other personal communications through one-to-one contacts. So in this way, the humans have got a well, comfortable, settled life now. Okay, I hope the chapter is clear to you all.